Okay, those are two police officers right there. And just understand what this guy has: a canister filled with paint, a pump, and is spraying you with, I guess you're lucky that it's only paint, because I mean, it's only a matter of time before there's acid in there or something. And these two cops right here do jack shit. Now I want to bring it up, go back a little later because we get a better see. Right now, this is where I said this guy's laughing at you. Yeah. The guy on the left is laughing.
Yeah, and I called the police station, and I say like, okay, he give me his name briefly. I was like, I cannot understand his name, but I have his badge number. And I called and I say, I'm sorry, I'm putting a deontology complaint against every police officer, the whole team. But at least I have two badge number, and I'm going to put their true name in my complaint. And he say, oh, it's Alexander L. Mustafa. And I was like, oh, maybe that explained why he was laughing at me, like when I got attacked. But maybe it's not. Maybe it's just like in my mind. But I was like, seriously, you look so biased just because, first of all, you did nothing, and you look like you're smiling when I literally got assaulted. And by the way, today, one of the mainstream media got, he went to the other side and he got a full bottle of unidentified liquid on his head.
Oh my God.
But police arrested the guy who did that.
Alexa subsequently in a tweet yesterday corrected that it was not necessarily even reported that the individual who assaulted the other journalist was arrested. I had to start with a longer video to go make sure boxes were checked off in the links that got created on YouTube. I had to go make sure that we were indeed live across. Oh, I wanted to share that with everybody. Whatever, I'll share that tweet with everybody in a second. I had to make sure that we're live across all the planes of the interwebs. Is that across the internet? Let me make sure that we are live on vivabarneslaw.locals.com. I initially set the stream up and then I forgot to include the vivabarneslaw.locals.com because it's a separate button in Rumble Studio. And either I'm missing the way to edit, and so I can add it after the stream is set up, or there isn't a way, in which case they have to create that option for the forgetful ones like myself. So I had to end the stream and start a new one, and it looks like we are good on vivabarneslaw.locals.com. Good. Are we live on the Rumbles? It looks like we are. We got a fun show today, people. The news leading up to the debate, it's coming fast and furious. SCOTUS issued a decision today, not the immunity decision, but a bad decision. And I know what Barnes is going to say. Pontius Pilate. Pontius Pilate. I now understand the expression. We're live on Rumble. We are live on vivabarneslaw.locals.com. We are live on Twitter. And we are live on CommieTube, the YouTube. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm going to share that link. I want everyone to put this on blast. We're going to put stuff on blast today. Link to tweet. That moment of the interview yesterday with Alexa Lavoie is revelatory. And it's revelatory because it's going to segue. It's a repetitive because we talked about it yesterday. I'm going to rehash it and emphasize how bloody serious it is. Alexa Lavoie talking about the incident in which she was assaulted by Antifa, pro-Palestine, anti-Israel occupiers at the Victoria Square in Montreal, the newest encampment, physically assaulted in front of two police officers, as we saw in that video clip. Literally there, literally within, 10, say 20 feet. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. A young, relatively frail woman, she's a healthy woman, she's by no means a bodybuilder, woman, assaulted in front of two male armed police officers who do nothing, who sit there with shit-eating grins on their faces. And she goes to get their names, and lo and behold, if one were so inclined to connect dots that might be connected, one might be able to see that there might be some sort of ideological support of the alleged, purported enforcers of the law, aligning them with the apparent, obvious breakers of the law. Some jackass on Twitter says, racist much? Because I say the guy's name is Alexander El Mustafa, according to what Alexa Lavoie discovered. And that might cause some reasonable or unreasonable people to think, this man might be ideologically aligned with the protesters, such that he's not intervening in an egregious act of assault in front of his very face at that moment. It's racist if you're an idiot. It's racist if you are a superficial moron who seeks to try to discredit the individual instead of addressing the ideas. If I were to have gone to the other cop's social media, for example, say I found out that the other cop, his name was, let's just say Jean Chrétien to take it in. Let's just say Pierre Trudeau. Let's just say I found out that guy's name was Pierre Trudeau. And I went to his Facebook account and I saw posts sympathizing with Antifa. I saw posts sympathizing with Occupy Wall Street, whatever. I would probably make the very same connections that perhaps the reason why that other police officer didn't intervene is because he's ideologically aligned with the protesters and doesn't mind seeing a Rebel News journalist get assaulted in front of his face. There's nothing racial about it unless you're a stupid moron. And yes, I'm calling people names. It's ideological. Yes, that's the whole point here. What else could explain two strong, buff, young, armed cops sitting by with shit-eating grins on their faces, laughing while a young female French-Canadian journalist is assaulted by Antifa, pro-Palestine, anti-Israeli mob? What could explain that except ideology? Cowardice could explain it. Not much better. Ideology. And that is what we're witnessing right now. We are witnessing the disarming of the Canadian populace, the criminalizing of self-defense, disarming so that the police will be the only ones who will defend you, but they won't defend you. They will leave you to be assaulted by mobs and gangs of lawbreakers. And they won't do it because they seem to be ideologically aligned with the criminals. That's Canada. And as if it wasn't enough that it would be limited to, if only it were only limited to a couple of bad actor police officers. Some might say, Viva, you're being too harsh on them. They're just following orders. Yep. As were all of Hitler's willing executioners. In fact, some of them might not have been following orders. Some of them might just have been doing it out of the goodness of their own hearts. Hitler's willing executioners. They're just following orders. Well, why is it that Valérie Plante, the mayor of Montreal, the vaxxed to the max, collapsing goon, is doing nothing, is issuing stand-down orders? Ask yourself that question. Why is it that François Legault is letting this province go to shit? Ask him that question. But bottom line, if I see an Antifa sympathizer as a police officer not intervening when Antifa is assaulting a woman, I'll draw ideological connections. And if it only ended there, this entire segue is an intro to the actual intro of today's show. I wake up this morning. Who the hell gets a paper anymore? I don't get the paper. I don't always get the paper, like the physical, disgusting paper. You flip the pages, they tear. You get black ink on your hands. It smells bad. It's always humid. But I got it today, and I looked at it, and the cover page was. I don't want to spoil the punchline here. This was the cover page of the Montreal Gazette. Montreal Gazette since 1778. Oh, I thought it said 1776. June 26, 2024. All right. Okay. So we got a picture here. Oh, I was like, oh, look at that. It says underneath, this is the cover page, the front page of the newspaper. Protesters attached a Palestinian flag to the statue of Queen Victoria outside their encampment at Victoria Square. A city worker removed the flag later Tuesday, along with a strap that appeared to have been used in an attempt to topple the statue the previous evening. John Mahoney. Victoria Square camp vows to stay. Counter demonstrators tell city to halt encampment protesters. All right. So I look at this picture, and I was like, oh, so it's just a flag stuck in the statue's arm, and a rope that they were using apparently to topple it. No biggie, no harm, no foul. They didn't topple it, and they took the flag away. A city worker removed the flag. You all know that classic piece of propaganda. Let me see where it is. It's the classic image of propaganda, right? You get, oh, look at the. I mean, it's used in the context of, oh, the poor tyranny, the boot on. What type of terrible police officer would be doing this in China? I don't know where this is. Oh, and then you're like, oh, okay, well, that's the propaganda picture, and this is the reality picture. So I look at that picture, I'm like, oh, I know the truth because I was there. I know the truth because I made a little video that I didn't know was going to serve as evidence at calling out the Montreal Gazette's egregious, malicious, enemy of the people propaganda. Look at this. So that's the picture, right? Well, that's the statue. It's terrible. Look at the vandalism. A flag in its hand. Oh, the only problem is that ain't the entire statue. That's the base of the statue. That's the portion. They cropped it. I don't know if you can see it. They cropped it right where the cursor is. Go down. What do you see? Oh, a little bit more than just a city worker removing the flag. Go down even lower. Oh, what do we see here? This says Campement Populaire Al Samoud. Then you got Make Nazi Dead Again, spray painted on with a stencil. You got Free Palestine, Fuck the Crown, more graffiti, more paint, more destruction or vandalism or damage to this statue. But if you were not to know that, and you're just, a elderly man, elderly woman living in Montreal, and you get the newspaper and you're like, oh, look, those rapscallions put a flag in the hand of the protester and the city workers removed it, so no harm, no foul. Oh my God, what the hell is actually going on here? Why would the Gazette be doing this? Like, what? The Gazette might not be concealing this because they're ideologically aligned with the protesters. They might be doing this because they are dependent on the government, whose incompetence and corruption is being brought to the fore right now. So the media needs to cover for the government, and the government, I don't think the government has much of a problem siding with Antifa. It's nice to cause havoc. And some of you out there might be saying, Viva, you're complaining about the flag while genocide is going on. First of all, there are two separate discussions to be had here. And there's genocide and violence and wars that are going on throughout the world, have been forever and probably will be forever. And I won't get into attacking the intentions of people who didn't seem to give one sweet bugger all about any of this until recently, who didn't seem to care about the Syrian refugee crisis or the Syrian wars, or who didn't care about what's going on in Ethiopia. They don't give a sweet bugger all until it's until it's a crisis, until it's a conflict that they can weaponize politically. I won't get into intentions, but there's two separate discussions to have here. One is the substance of what's going on in Israel and Gaza and with the Palestinians. And the other is what the hell is going on here in the West. One is a foreign conflict, and it's a very, very serious issue. And it's a little bit more complex than most people understand. People think the war in Russia started in 2022, and people think the conflict in Gaza started October 7th. But there are two separate discussions, and one I'm not going to really get involved in because it doesn't go anywhere, and the other one I will because I'm going to put them on blast. You have the media running hardcover for a government that seems to be issuing standout orders to its police while disarming the population and allowing all hell to break loose on the streets. Why would that be happening? So I'm going to put that on blast. Montreal Gazette, I filed an ethics complaint, or I filed a complaint with, I don't know, whatever press thing I could Google, filing a complaint against the news. It's egregious propaganda of the highest order. And it's not just that, the absolute hypocrisy. Do you remember what happened? Oh, they removed the flag and took it away. Oh, let's ignore the vandalism on the bottom part. Let's ignore what they're saying on the bottom. Let's ignore the spray paint, the graffiti. Let's ignore that, but they took the flag out of its hand. I'm sorry, I seem to remember a certain Ottawa trucker protest where the fact that they had put a Canadian flag in the arms of Terry Fox was deemed to be vandalism of the Terry Fox Memorial. I'm old enough to remember that. That was not vandalism at the time. Putting a flag in a statue is never vandalism as far as I'm concerned. So I'm not holding a different standard to the 2S LGBTQIA+ that put gay pride flags in the Terry Fox Memorial, which they did. Not vandalism then. Sure as hell wasn't vandalism when the truckers did it. And had that encampment only put a Palestinian flag in the hands of Queen Victoria, wouldn't call it vandalism either. But they sure as hell called it vandalism when the truckers did it. Oh, but don't worry, someone took the flag away, and they'll spend the next 3 weeks trying to spray down with high pressure hoses and remove the spray paint and the Make Nazis Dead and the Fuck the Crown. We'll try to get that down in the next coming weeks. Good afternoon, everybody. Probably don't need quite this much iced coffee, but I'm doing it. FTW. I was in the car with someone today who's like, FJB edition. What does that mean? It's like, you don't know what FJB edition means? Wonderful, beautiful naivete. Good afternoon, everybody. We're going to have a fun show today. It's it's wild. While we're on the topic of government corruption and government incompetence and government really by no means looking out for the best interest of their citizenry, and pretty much by all accounts doing everything they can to mess things up, we might want to be worried about the next thing, because the next thing will be coming. There's no H in will, so that's a absolutely wrong use of the W. Listen up, people. If you're not stockpiling medications after what we've been through, you're setting yourself up for disaster. The government does not care about you. It does not care about me. It cares about itself and its lobbyists and its cronies, period. The warning signs are everywhere with this bird flu in the headlines. The FDA commissioner just went out on record saying, and I'm quoting, "The real worry is that it will jump from human lungs, where when that has happened in other parts of the world, the mortality rate has been 25%. You've got to trust them now, people. We got to have testing, got to have antivirals, and we need to have a vaccine ready to go, because the last one worked out so bloody well. Could things be more transparent? Could they be more transparent about what they're doing? Dr. Eric Ding, COVID-10 expert, says, I would start stockpiling flu medicines like Tamiflu for your family starting now. If bird flu is ever human-to-human transmissible, you will regret it when you're near when the shortage hits. It is our personal responsibility to be prepared. And fortunately, you can get medications like Tamiflu easily without having to book an appointment at a doctor. Save the trip, save the money. There's money involved, but it'll be less. The wellness company has developed the Contagion Emergency Kit, a prescription-only stockpile of the life-saving medication, including Tamiflu, ivermectin, hydroxychloroquine, and Z-Pak. Do you have what your family needs the next time around? Because there will be a next time around, and doctors won't even consider prescribing ivermectin or hydroxychloroquine, but we've got you covered. Easily ordered online, the one-of-a-kind prescription Contagion Emergency Kit from the wellness company. Each prep kit provides you with a carefully selected assortment of effective medications for bird flu, other respiratory illnesses. It includes ivermectin, hydroxychloroquine, Z-Pak, Tamiflu, budesonide, along with the nebulizer. Rest easy knowing that you have the meds on hand with a guidebook for safe use. Backed by the research of doctors like Dr. Peter McCullough, every American should have at least one of these kits in their home. Avoid the chaos, wait times, and price gouging. Have one of these. Go to twc.health/Viva. Grab your Contagion Emergency Kit right now. twc.health/Viva. Code VIVA. 10% off plus free shipping. Kits are only available in the USA. So for my Canadian counterparts who are living through the most egregious abuses ever, I don't know, man. I don't know what to tell you. I'm reading the chat and people say, I can't believe it. Honor 234, what the F? I couldn't effing believe it's bad. What are we talking about here? All right. Now, because we can do this, look at this. We're using Rumble Studio again today. Ginger Ninja says, I don't get to catch you live as much as I used to, but I watch almost all replays. Just here to give you a couple more shekels. By the way, I'm going to make a Rumble video about how much you're wrong. Good luck. It'll be fun. I don't mind being wrong. Hold on. There's a second one from Ginger Ninja. On your instincts on the SCOTUS. There you go. Extreme Risk Protection Order decision. You will agree with me after you watch it. Waves hand to use the force. We're going to talk about the SCOTUS decision today. Pontius Pilate. I understand what Barnes is saying whenever he says it now. Viva. Tommy Robinson got arrested in Calgary on Monday night. Steve, I talked about it yesterday. I flipped I flipped Tommy the link if he can pop in. I don't know if he's going to be able to, but love to talk to him about it. Why is everything now deemed a crisis? Gaza, Ukraine, gun violence, etc. Because when you declare an emergency, you get to bypass and utterly ignore fundamental constitutional God-given rights. Live in a perpetual state of chaos and a perpetual state of crises, and everything becomes an excuse to usurp what ought to have been God-given rights and not government-decreed privileges. Let's see if I can say this. Baruch haba David, am ze balach, im ze balach, im ze ba lech, natsa beichad lishtot kus bira ushtim. Ushatime. So something one or the other. I'll have to go back. MS Sidloy, I'll have to go back to that afterwards. All right, so we're talking the Supreme Court decision. We're going to talk, I did the intro about putting that Gazette on blast with their propaganda. It's wild. And we're going to talk about the upcoming debate. And what else did I have on the backdrop here? Let me see if I can see this here. Fun stuff. Let's talk about the debate thing now. Everybody, this is why I should never invest in the market and certainly never invest on my own. I get obsessive compulsive if you haven't already known. And I have been following the predicted market for a long time. And why I'm such an idiot. There has been, for anybody who's been watching, there has been a wild push, or at least a wild run, for Vivek Ramaswamy to be the VP pick. Like, Vivek went from 8 cents yesterday when I sold Vivek to buy Doug Burgum. He went from 8 cents to like 20 cents, and now he's back down to 15. JD Vance has been hovering around 2, and Doug Burgum is the number 1 leading, but not really going anywhere. The debate is coming up tomorrow night, and everybody's talking about it. Everybody's talking about what a setup, what a trap it is for Donald Trump, as if he's not ready for this, and hopefully he has to be, as though you can expect anything remotely objective from these scoundrels at CNN. Jake Tapper's hosting, and they've put together the supercut of Jake Tapper comparing Donald Trump to Adolf Hitler.
The dehumanizing rhetoric of Adolf Hitler is once again alive and well on a national political stage.
Can you understand I'm going to replay this, and I'm going to shut my big mouth while I play it. The dehumanizing rhetoric, like Adolf Hitler, is now on stage. Some might say calling Donald Trump, who clearly is not Adolf Hitler, is itself dehumanizing rhetoric. Hashtag confession through projection, or who said it? James Lindsay, the iron law of woke projection. The dehumanizing rhetoric of these Nazi, extreme MAGA, Republican, Hitler-loving cultists, the extreme dehumanizing rhetoric of those scumbag, scoundrel cockroaches is really making it to the fore. Watch us tonight on CNN. Okay, I'm going to shut my mouth.
The dehumanizing rhetoric of Adolf Hitler is once again alive and well on a national political stage. This time, of course, in the United States. Donald Trump, a couple times over the weekend, referred to immigrants from South America, Africa, and Asia. He did not mention Europe. South America, Africa, and Asia as, quote, poisoning the blood of our country, which it's not hyperbole. That does very directly echo Adolf Hitler's language before World War II. To open up a copy of Hitler's Mein Kampf, you would find the Nazi leader describing the mixing of non-Germans with Germans as poisoning. There's really no other way to say it. Donald Trump's language mirrors this directly.
Do you understand? He's faulting Trump for mixing of blood.
Describing the mixing of non-Germans with Germans as poisoning.
I hate doing this. Donald Trump's family has mixed its blood with Jewish people. Ivanka married Jared Kushner. Jake the fake Tapper, who's going to be hosting the debate, is accusing Trump of being Hitlerian, using Hitlerian tropes of blood mixing, when Trump's own family has mixed blood in a number of respects, but with Jews. So anyways, that's Jake Tapper. He's the scumbag of all scumbags, a scumbag extraordinaire, as we would say. Let me see here, because this is Tapper. Here we go. Is Tapper's voice what one would call cloying or just puke-inducing? I think it's the male version of vocal fry. It's the weenie dweeb. I think if I talk like this with my sinuses, it makes me sound smarter. And yeah, I don't like Jake Tapper. I mean, he's a scoundrel of the highest order. And when you use rhetoric comparing someone who's clearly not Hitler to Hitler, you are using the very dehumanizing rhetoric that you're accusing them of using. And worse still, you are giving the political permission slip to nutbags and whack jobs across the country. Nutbags and whack jobs have never sounded so dirty put together. Nutbags and whack jobs across the country to do what any rational person would do to stop the ascension of someone like Hitler. They know it. They know it. So there's no question about that. I got distracted with a comment, which I'm not going to entertain. So Jake Tapper, that's the man who's going to be hosting the debate. I thought I wanted to talk about it yesterday, and then I think I don't know how I forgot to. The debate rules, for those who don't know, Biden and Trump, they've agreed on the debate rules. It's going to be tomorrow night. I'm going to be live streaming it. I don't know if I want to take the chance and just tell YouTube to go F themselves, because apparently they're going to be issuing DMCA takedown notices for copyright violation, even though this is a public presidential debate. And most people who are going to be live stream commentating on it are going to be doing fair use commentating, even though they apparently have given authorization to mainstream media outlets to stream it. And in which case, I would argue that there might be some, even to the extent that there could be any form of copyright that it's been relinquished or surrendered or made public domain by granting, free use to others. It doesn't matter. Apparently, YouTube is going to, according to Tim Pool, Steven Crowder. So do I try to poke that bear and make a point, which I wouldn't mind doing, or we'll just do it on Rumble and StreamYard and deal with whatever happens. StreamYard, what the hell am I talking about? Rumble and vivabarneslaw.locals.com. Either way, we'll see about that. The rules. Biden and Trump campaign agreed to mic muting, podiums among rules of upcoming debate. Just get the gist of the debates. The debate will be hosted by Jake Tapper, CNN, and Dana Bash. All right. Okay. 90 minutes. Commercial breaks. There will be no crowd. Both candidates agreed to appear at a uniform podium. Podium positions will be determined by a coin flip. Big deal. Microphones will be muted throughout the debate, except for the candidate whose turn it is to speak. We'll see how that gets abused. While no props or pre-written notes will be allowed on the stage, candidates will be given a pen, a pad of paper, and a bottle of water. I would love to see Joe Biden's notes at the end of the debate. Some aspects of the debate, including the absence of a studio audience, will be a departure from previous debates. Yada yada yada. Okay. And then the question: RFK is not making the debate because he didn't meet the threshold. Yada yada yada. Those are the rules. Okay. Everybody's out there saying this is going to be an absolute setup for Trump. Easy ways that they can set this up for Trump. They're going to be Jake Tapper is going to have an earbud in the entire time, going to be ready to fact check everything that Donald Trump says. They might abuse the mute button. We'll see about that. But bottom line, look, Trump knows they're going to be out there to fact check him and make him look like an idiot. So he's got to make sure to keep his statements simple, statements of fact simple. The problem with these idiot fact checkers is they can't distinguish between opinion, rhetoric, and an assertion of fact. They fact check opinions. The world wasn't in a state of peace in 2020. That's somewhat of a statement of opinion or a broader assessment, but they'll fact check opinions because they're idiots. They're going to be real-time fact checking on Trump, and it won't be reciprocated to Biden for sure. They're going to be propping Biden up, asking him, I presume, leading questions, giving him chances to fill in the blanks because there will be blanks, and they will not be doing the same for Trump. Trump's got to know that. He's got to anticipate that. Keep it simple. And if I'm Trump, I'm bringing up Ashley Biden diary now being confirmed to be real. Therefore, confirmed that Joe Biden, in Ashley's own estimation, might have molested her, took showers with her at an inappropriate age, election interference. I bring up the Hunter Biden laptop because remember, go back and pull up the highlights from the last time where Joe Biden said that laptop was Russian information, disinformation. Go pull those up. Repeat those clips and hound him on this now. The most compromised first family in the history of America. All right, so bring all that up. Trump's going to know it. He's a smart guy, and he's going to do absolutely fine. Everybody is saying that this is going to be a sabotage of Trump. And I'm having the relatively novel idea, and I'm putting my money where my mouth is. This is going to be a deliberate and overt sabotage of Joe Biden. Like when the Washington Post, one of the Wall Street Journal, one of the big ones, says, we've really got to start talking about Joe Biden's cognitive decline. I have a feeling that they are putting this on blast for the most epic, the most public meltdown, collapse of a candidate where even he's going to have to say, I'd better pull out because I'm sorry, I can't do it. I'm too old. Or they're going to make it that he has to be pulled out, and they're going to fill him in with his doppelganger, 40 years younger, Gavin Newsom. That's what I genuinely believe that it's a longer shot prediction. And if it turns out to be true, I get to say I'm the smartest man in the room. And if it turns out not to be true, I get to say it was a long shot prediction. They're doing this to publicly humiliate Joe Biden so they can credibly, plausibly, and without blame remove him from the ticket and swap him out for someone like Gavin Newsom. Okay. What was I about to say about that? So the rules of the debate, and it's going to happen tomorrow night. Now, hold on a second. I seem to have lost my train of thought. Oh, cripe. Well, I forgot. So that is what's going to happen tomorrow night. That was it. Jacking him up on drugs. Okay. Sorry. got a little distracted. Speaking of Adderall, I am not on Adderall or any medication except caffeine and the occasional martini. Everybody's also saying there was talk, like, is Trump going to insist on a drug test? And John J. Harwood, who's just gone full Pravda government mouthpiece, is calling it lunacy, that people are suggesting that they're going to jack Joe Biden up with enough drugs so that he'll plow through this debate, skate through, with enough vigor so that he'll say, oh, they can tell him as a winner, like he did during the Crimson, what was that? This Crimson speech that he gave. State of the Union. No, it wasn't State of the Union, but you know what I'm talking about. That Crimson, where he's a frothing at the mouth, raging lunatic, like psychotic. And I say, first of all, that was like a year ago. Second of all, this is a debate, not a monologue. There are not enough drugs on the universe to jack Joe Biden up enough to have him skate through or survive this debate. I don't think it's humanly possible. So I think he's going down in flames. And it's like, if this is being touted as like a UFC match, and entertainment, but this is being touted as entertainment while the world literally burns. And so there's a bit of sad, tragic irony to all of this. We're looking at I don't place Donald Trump with Joe Biden in terms of any form of cognitive ability. They're not two old men. There's a man with experience, and there is a man who belongs in a nursing home. And I say that with respect to old people who are entering their second childhood. Joe Biden has now entered like his fourth childhood. But there's not enough drugs on earth that they can jack Joe Biden up with. He can't come out like a frothing at the mouth lunatic like he did during that Crimson speech. And it's a debate, and it's not going to go well. I'm calling it now, so you know where to go. This is the day before. I will be live with Barnes tomorrow night, and we'll be watching it in real time. Only on Rumble. And that's it. I don't think I have anything more to add to that coming up tomorrow, except that Jake Tapper is a scoundrel and Casey Hunt is worse. Stay in Rumble and Twitter sandbox. This is not a good battle to have. By using Rumble and Twitter, you provide a great comparison contrast. Clark, I also think you're right. Like, it's sort of like, wanting to go and prove a point by doing a man on the street interview with people who are not reasonable. YouTube is looking for an excuse to abuse of copyright to take down channels. There's no question. It's pretextual. Enjoy picking a fight that's going to be more of a headache for you to fight than for them to fight. So that's it. And also, forget YouTube. I'm not interested in driving traffic there. We're going to drive it to the free speech platform. It's going to be Rumble, and it's going to be vivabarneslaw.locals.com. Now, am I seeing the tips come up in... Okay, those are the tips there. I can see it. Okay, awesome. So that's going on with the debate tomorrow night. It's going to be fun. Oh, shoot, I'm going to be doing a podcast with Pantelis tomorrow at some point. So stay tuned for that. All right. I think that's all I got for that. Now, speaking of, do we vote with our feet and with our dollar right now? I say we do. Let's go over to Rumble and but there was something I wanted to do while we were on Rumble and YouTube. Before we go, we're going to thank our second sponsor of the day, Brickhouse Nutrition, people. Let me see here. What are my nutritional goals? Support my daily goals. Unlock 50. Okay, can we? Okay, well, I can't. Come on here. Field of Greens, people. Brickhouse Nutrition. Our second sponsor is another one that I love, that I use when I'm on the road and I have trouble finding raw fruits and veggies. I go to Field of Greens. It's a little known fact, everybody. You're supposed to have between 5 and 7 servings of raw fruits and vegetables a day. I'm in Montreal now. I'm not really on the road, so I can get them. And I had a ton of arugula, but most people do not. I had a ton of arugula for breakfast. Arugula, salami fried with eggs. It was delicious. You're supposed to have between 5 and 7 servings of raw fruits and vegetables a day. And most people do not. Most people do not have a healthy lifestyle. No judgment, but fix it, because it's the easiest thing to control what you put in your body. If you cannot have, and even if you do have your 5 to 7 servings of raw fruits and vegetables a day, Field of Greens is the thing to do. A small regret is slouching in the dentist chair thinking, I should have brushed or flossed better. A big health regret is not listening to your doctor and thinking, I should have paid attention to my nutrition when I was younger. Better health today, and when it matters, is most why. I exercise, I eat my veggies, and I swap out bad habits for the healthy habit of Field of Greens twice a day. It is not a supplement. It is not an extract. It is a food. It is USDA organic. It is made in America. It tastes delicious. It looks like swamp water, but that's because it's rich in nutrients like swamp water is. One spoonful has 1 serving of fruits and vegetables. You have it twice a day. You're going to have at least 2 servings of fruits and vegetables a day. Swap out a disgusting aspartame, sucralose, stevia-filled chemical drink. Have something healthy that is good for your body and support Made in America. It's delicious. It's healthy. You get all the nutrients, antioxidants, et cetera, et cetera. The link, Field of Greens, brings you to Brickhouse Nutrition. Promo code VIVA gets you 15% off. Let me make sure that I don't actually promise something that I... 15% off. Thank goodness. Otherwise, I got to eat that myself. 15% off and free shipping. It's delicious. Do your body a favor and get Field of Greens. The links are in the description. And before we head over to Rumble... I talked about it yesterday, but we'll do the Judge Marshall. It's like you think this all couldn't be scripted any more than it is scripted. Isn't it amazing? Like the day before, 2 days before the debate, they don't want to look like they're engaging in lawfare. And if Trump were to show up to the debate gagged by Judge Marchand's gag order, even though the verdict has been rendered, if he were to show up under a full gag order, it would look like election interference. It would look like lawfare. So just the day, it was yesterday, the judge lifts 2 conclusions of that gag order, A and C, and leaves conclusion B, which precludes Trump from speaking ill of the judge, his family, Alvin Bragg, his family, or the court and their family. So Donald Trump can't call out the state corruption without risking violating the gag order. And by the way, knowing that CNN is there to sabotage him, what are they going to do? I predicted it on Twitter yesterday. They are going to ask him a great many questions about how he feels about what he's described as lawfare, malicious prosecution, in the hopes of getting him to violate that gag order so that Judge Marchand can then come in after and say, oh my goodness, I'm getting so many threats because of what you said during the debate. Me and Alvin Bragg, me and Soros-funded Alvin Bragg, and my daughter's getting threats also because she's running Authentic PR, raising money for Adam Schiff. And Schiff is getting threats now because of that debate. Lock him up. Guaranteed. That's going to happen. That's going to be an attempt, or at least it'll be a happy coincidence. But at least it won't look like they're engaging in lawfare because they lifted, 2 of the 3 conclusions of the gag order, much to the chagrin of convicted perjurer Michael Cohen, who took to Twitter to whine and bitch and piss and moan about it yesterday. But that was it. It's all a trap. It is all the most dirtiest third world kangaroo court, Eastern European, communistic, fascistic abuse of law, abuse of the media, and merger, the holy trinity of evil, government, media, and corporations, all working together to usurp what was otherwise democracy. Okay, we're ending it on let me just see something here. I wanted to go here and read some of the chat. Have you talked about SCOTUS yet? Just jumped in, says Berserker. If you want to, Berserker. That's from the movie Clerks, if I'm not mistaken. Berserker, no, I have not talked about it yet. We're going to talk about it over on Rumble. YouTube is asshole, says Zanny Magron, at Zanny Magroin. King of Biltong in the house, but hold on. King of Biltong. Okay, I was going to say, I didn't see the comment. Let's put this up here for a second. Good afternoon from Anton's Meat and Eat. 10% off with code VIVA10 for your biltong on www.biltongusa.com or antonusa.com. Eat some biltong. Vote for Trump. Be America first. We are stocked on game biltong. Okay, do it. Biltong, thank you very much. You made it just in time. I'm going to unpin that, and we are going to now... Yeah, we'll end this on both. Okay, so hold on one second. I go like this. And I go Rumble and Locals, and we will end it on YouTube. The entire stream will be posted on Viva Clips. Stay tuned for a standalone Viva Frei car vlog at some point today, probably on the SCOTUS decision, just to narrow it down for a short video. Updating, ending on YouTube, ending on Twitter. See you on Rumble. See you on vivabarneslaw.locals.com.